All right, full disclosure. Sometimes I'm an idiot. Probably more often than sometimes. I got the microphone further away from my mouth too because I got to stop mouth breathing into the microphone. All right, so some time ago I did a Console8 routing tutorial. Like I'm one to be giving tutorials after what I discovered while I was remixing this song in Console8. I noticed that my limiter, Tone Booster's Barricade V4, set at minus true peak, transparent mode, output minus 0.1. I just wanted to prevent inner sample peak clipping. I really want to have full dynamic range on this. Hang on. All right, where was I? Yeah. So I got Barricade set just to stop ISP clipping. And I notice in Airwindows Meter, I've got this ceiling at about minus 2 dB. I'll show you. All right. God, I'm so annoyed. Okay. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, right here, there's Barricade in my mix bus. And, well, for this demonstration, first I need to make sure that it is before Console8BussOut. I'm checking that right now. That's Console8BussOut. Right before Console8BussOut is this Barricade version 4. And right there is it's set at minus 0.1. The gain is at 0.0. True peak, transparent mode. And let me hit play. And there is the minus 2 dB ceiling that you see forming in the Airwindows Meter readout. I don't know if this was happening before and I just didn't notice it. I can't imagine how I didn't. But I guess it's possible. So I tried different limiters. I was going round and round about it with Gemini. Gemini is trying to tell me all kinds of nonsense. And I gave up on that. And so I was just trying different things. And one of the things that I decided to try was to just stick Barricade after Console8BussOut. So now there's Console8BussOut. There's Barricade after Console8BussOut. And I'll do it again. And now I'm peaking right up. Okay, see, there's technically an over that spike, but it's really not. Barricade's doing his job. So, look, in my Console8 routing tutorial, I forwarded my understanding of this, that the rule of thumb, as they say, is Console8 channel in, chain, Console8 channel out, or in the case of auxes or buses, Console8 sub in, chain, Console8 sub out. And on the mix bus, Console8 bus in, chain, Console8 bus out. And that, by that logic, the limiter is the last thing in my chain. Therefore, if it's Console8 bus in brackets, chain, Console8 bus out, then the last thing in the chain between brackets is the limiter. So I go back to Gemini and I'm like, hey, man, I'm not supposed to do this, I don't think, but I put my limiter after Console8 bus out. It's behaving normally. And then, of course, you know, Gemini being, this is what AIs do, right? They're like politicians. Oh, yeah. Of course that makes sense. Yeah, that's the ticket. You know, and it starts telling me all this stuff about the summing math of Console8 and how it all makes perfect sense. But, you know, I'm taking this with several nuggets of Himalayan pink salt, and I'm putting it out there in the hopes that if I'm wrong, somebody will come along and correct me. Anyway, full disclosure, man, if I'm being an idiot or I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to tell you, because, you know, I'd rather be wrong and be called on it and then be right than the alternative. Anyway, I'll be back here in a bit with a very special video, and thank you for tuning in. Hope this video finds you better than I am. I'm really super annoyed right now. May the winds of clarity blow ever in your favor. From lovely, scenic Paju City, South Korea, where spring is romping like a kitten. Over and out.